One. Hello, Facebook friends. This is Jennifer Darling with Darling Coaching, your positively successful sales coach. And I am back for another session of Positively Successful Women in Business with special guest, Julie, the Brain Lady. I think that's such a cool name. Julie, the Brain Lady Anderson. And she is here today to give you some awesome tips about stress management. But before we go into that, I want to read you Julie's bio. She and I were chatting before I hit the live button, and I was saying, oh my gosh, this is so incredible. And you know, for all you Facebook viewers watching right now, I only bring you like super smart, super awesome people who can give you super fabulous tips. So I'm very excited to have Julie here tonight. So Julie is also known as the Brain Lady speaker, as I said. She is an in-demand international public speaker, wielding her expertise in brain science to bring solution-based training into organizations and with entrepreneurs for business, communications, relationship, and life success. Like all of those things are super critical to success. Her results are in increasing productivity, preventing conflicts. Boy, wouldn't we all like that? Not just in business, Julie, but in life too. And breaking through barriers in both business and in life. So an established brain authority in the media, Julie's been interviewed on ABC, Fox, UPN, and she's a frequent expert guest on many other radio networks. She's also the host of Brain Lady Speaks radio show on the Lessons in Joyful Living radio network. So if you're not on that network yet, you don't have a link, we'll post it in the comments later because we for surely want to get you more resources from Julie. Julie's done an extensive research in the areas of personality types, brain function and anatomy, brain health, and the brain-personality connection. Now here come the big words. She's studied natural health, psychology, human resource development, and psychoneuroimmunology. Was I close?
You're close enough. Close enough.
That's close enough. Good. She's got more than 20 years of research, study, mentoring, and sharing stages with other gurus in the field of brain personality connection. And she's got continuing education in depression, anxiety disorders, and brain functions. This lady is just like a wealth of knowledge about your brain. So Julie's going to share with us some tips today. And first, she's going to talk a little bit about her business. So besides speaking, what all do you do?
Well, I tell people I run a brain search and rescue program. So when you feel like you've lost it, you can come to me and I'll help you find it.
Okay, wait, I need help. No.
Right. No, long and short, a Reader's Digest is I just kind of take all this information coming out of the field of neuroscience and I funnel it down, filter it down into usable information to improve your life, your business, and your relationships. So it's the science behind the psychology of understanding your unique brain personality connection, that of other people, how to make that connection in business, how to increase sales and relationships, how to improve those. And then, of course, how to get past all of the stress and the negative mindset, negative thinking, and move into your natural gifted self.
So it sounds like you have a good mixture of scientific background and education and common sense.
A little bit of them all.
A little bit of everything.
And a little bit of crazy mixed in.
When I was reading your bio, I thought, oh my gosh, you must have been doing this for a long time because you have so many different unique pieces of education and study, unique pieces of actually doing speaking. I mean, so many different things that you've brought together. I mean, that's just incredible that you've been able to do that. And you said you've been doing this for how long? 16 years?
I've been teaching on it for 16 years. I actually started my journey into the brain about 22 years ago. So I was
when you were like 2?
No, I'm a lot older than that, honey, but thank you. But yeah, I started studying, that was psychoneuroimmunology that I was studying 22 years ago. And that kind of spun me into becoming really just a brain geek. I just love the brain. So then I delved into all of these other things and put it into this usable program that we present with Your Best Mind.
Oh, awesome. Have you written any books?
I have, actually. My first book was called Quickest Way to Insanity, Homeschool Your Kids. And it's specifically for the homeschool community and how to use this this brain information to become better teachers. I have a book called the Brainstorm Journal, which is just for journaling, and it's got brain games and brain things in it. And we're working on getting out, it's in print right now. It's tips for communication tips. It's a little pocket book. And then we've got 2 more books coming out: Change Your Mind, Habits for a Healthier, Happier Mindset in Life, and What Did You Say? A Guide to Communication, Relationships, in the Brain. So lots of stuff coming out.
That'd probably be good for husband and wife teams, right?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, you have so many amazing resources. That's awesome. I want to welcome a couple people to our broadcast. Esther Marcelino, my friend from Placer Women Network, has joined us. You know Esther?
I was just if she was there yesterday, I was there yesterday, so maybe we saw each other.
Yeah, she was there yesterday. I was supposed to be the speaker, but I lost my voice, and I just have been staying in bed for 4 days. Probably something I need to talk to you about, huh? And then welcome Laura Van. Hi, nice to see you, Laura. Laura is a health, and I will say a natural health advocate. She's awesome. And Judy Wright. Hello, Judy. Judy's my sweet friend I just met a couple weeks ago, who's a numerologist. She gave me some really awesome tips on numerology. So, Julie, what I want to do is I want to talk today about, I love giving tips and practical information for people whenever they sign up for a class or they're on a Facebook Live. And one of the reasons I ask you to become on the show and be an expert speaker is because I thought that you had some truly amazing tips to offer people. And so you shared with me you have some tips on stress management is one area we'd like to touch on tonight. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, I thought this was a perfect segue. The show, my Brain Lady Speaks radio show this morning, was all on that, on stress. And it's a really great topic. I mean, right now, lots of people are stressed about taxes or the economy or the political system or whatever. We have to understand what that does to the brain and the body when we are stressed out. Mm-hmm. It actually can do a lot of damage in the brain. If it's chronic stress, it can literally shrink critical portions of your brain, portions of your brain that are responsible for reasoning, for logical thinking. It overactivates the fear center. So then you start making a lot of emotional decisions as opposed to, really logical, good decisions. It can even, if it's chronic and it's long-term, it can even affect your aging of your cells, the telomeres and the end of your cells, your chromosomes. So really important to understand that if you are under a lot of stress, or if you're just not feeling well and you can't figure out why, step back and think, wait a minute, am I stressed out? Mm-hmm. And then take proactive steps to deal with that. And this is a problem that hits a lot of entrepreneurs as well. And I would assume that a lot of your clients and the people you work are in the entrepreneurial field. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And entrepreneurs, we take on so much that sometimes we get stressed out because we've just got so much going on. And it's really important because that'll limit your amount of success you reach in your business.
Mm-hmm. What's interesting about that is when you first started talking about the stress part and how it overtakes you, is I could relate to a job where I was really, really stressed out. And it was for years. I was so stressed out. And then I was working out at the same time. So good for me that I was working out. I don't know what would happen if I wasn't. But I remember I was at the gym 6 days a week. I rode the bike 45 minutes to 60 minutes a day. And I didn't lose 1 pound. Actually, that's not true. I lost exactly 1 pound. Yeah. My personal trainer was like, what is going on? You could be eating McDonald's all day, and here you are. And I remember going to the doctor, and the doctor said, there's nothing you can do other than relieve your stress, quit your job. And so it's interesting because as a corporate person for a long time, there was a high level of stress there and demands of other people. But now as an entrepreneur, it's a different set of stress, mm-hmm. different type of stress because it's all on me. But I will say that this morning I thought to myself, I'm so thankful that I have my own business because I allowed myself to get some rest that I really needed and sleep in. And if I had been going to corporate world, the pressure for me to go in without resting my body would have been so high, I would have went back to work and probably been sick much longer, you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you hit on a really interesting point, the fact that you were working out constantly. And yes, that helped your brain to manage the stress, but you were still in this chronic stress mode. And when that happens, the amygdala kicks out this fear response, and that's in the lower portions of the brain. And when that happens, one of the glucocorticoids that get flushed into the system is cortisol. And how much have we heard about, extra weight and how cortisol is connected to holding on to that weight and having a hard time losing weight. So absolutely, that was probably contributing to your situation at the time, because your brain was constantly flushing your body with the different hormones and chemicals that prevented weight loss.
That stinks.
I know, right?
It totally stinks. I was working so hard, and I didn't realize it was actually the stress that I need to work on.
Yeah,
so isn't that funny? That's what I'm doing now. So what kind of tips do you have for people, entrepreneurs or even people in the corporate world? How do they how are they going to manage this stress?
Well, there's some really cool things that you can do. The great part about it is that it is very manageable. Exercise is one of them. You hit right on that. Exercise creates endorphins. Endorphins are the feel good, the happy hormone, and or the dopamine, and the serotonin is the happy and the content hormones that are the endorphins. And what happens when you are under chronic stress, your brain actually reduces the production of that. So by doing exercise or other things, I tell people laughter, exercise, those are two great things to increase the endorphins in your brain, the serotonin and the dopamine that is going to make you feel better. And that's it's going to start shifting your mind and the brain and the chemistry in your brain. So laughter, start out your day with laughter. It will totally change the way you focus on things during the day. As far as being an entrepreneur, I tell women women especially, because women tend to hold on to so many things, is to do regular brain dumps. In other words, once a week, sit down and just literally take everything that's in here and put it down on paper, because it gets it out of your brain. And it helps.
Oh gosh, I need to do that.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing to do. And just write, doesn't have to be in any type of organized structure. The idea is to get it from here onto a paper. And that's going to help to release the stresses in your brain, because you're not going to be ruminating on all of this stuff so much. So that's a really good key too.
Okay, great. So I want to say hello, Susan Rupel. She says, I love seeing two of my favorite people. We're going to show that on the screen. There, now you can see Susan's pretty face there. Isn't it cute?
I love you.
If anybody has any questions for Julie, please put them in the comments. She's open to answering questions. We'd love to have questions. So if you've got any, write them in the comments right now, and we'll plug them in just as soon as you post them. Julie, what I want to ask you about is, what happens when you reduce that stress in your brain? What is the opportunity that you have? And this is kind of like a general question, but I think because you're so super smart, you'll have an answer. But what's that opportunity when you reduce that stress in your brain? What happens?
Oh, tremendous opportunities for just critical thinking. When you're subconscious, when you're under a lot of stress, your lower portions of your brain all of a sudden just suck all of the available oxygen and nutrients down to it, because it's designed to protect you. So it shuts down the non-life sustaining systems of, say, the digestive system, the immune system, and the reproductive system. It shuts all that down, and it uses all the available juice, right? Which means your thinking part of your brain doesn't have it to use. It's stole it all. So when you calm the lower systems in your brain and you reduce that stress, then you're just able to think clearer, right? You're just able to go, oh, okay, now I can figure out how to solve this problem. And the answer could be right there in front of your face all the time. But if you're under a lot of stress, your brain can't see it. So
it's kind of like when you see those pictures, they're close up, like you see red with a little black mark, and you're like, what is that? I can't tell what it is. And then when you back up, it's like, oh, well, that's a slice of a watermelon. Why didn't I see that?
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So literally allows the oxygen and everything to move back into the brain, and you're able to think clear.
Laura says you are adorable. She must have cleared her brain. She's thinking really good, right?
You know what? She came to one of my mind-blowing, life-transforming events. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. She's one of my alumni. So
fantastic. So when you talk about the lower parts of your brain, I mean, your brain's kind of like this kind of thing,
right,
in a way. Right. Right? And so those lower parts are here, and then you have that big, huge thinking part, and it's so big, but you can't get there if you've got it all blocked off, right?
Exactly. So the mushroom cap is that cognitive portion, that thinking portion of the brain. That is that part that sits on top. And the bottom part, it's an energy hog. And it moves so much faster than the thinking portion. So half the time you'll feel an emotion, you don't know why, or you'll do something, you'll take an action, you don't know what just happened. It's because that part has taken over. And the cognitive part, that mushroom cap, isn't able to work until it gets everything it needs to function.
Okay. Very complex in that crazy big brain of ours, right?
Absolutely. It's incredible.
We have a question from Susan here. Susan wants to know, what's one of your relationship tips?
Oh, okay. First and foremost, biggest thing that I always try to teach people is think receiver, not sender. So our brains naturally send, I talk a lot about the brain personality connection and the way that your brain processes data, views data, and that has to do with the multifaceted brain personality connection. And we just kind of automatically, we send information the way our brain processes it. And we kind of automatically think, oh, well, everybody else is going to get my message. Well, you can be talking to somebody in a relationship, whether it's the difference between a husband and a wife, a male-female brain, or a left brain and a right brain person, or a visual communicator versus an auditory communicator. If you're sending the way your brain processes, that doesn't mean that's the way Jennifer's brain processes or Susan's brain processes, right? You have to stop and think, what do I need to say? What do I need to do? What do I need to show them or help them feel or help them see so that they get the message that I'm sending? And if you just take that moment to think that way, then you adjust your message, or you adjust what you're trying to communicate in a way that their brain gets it. Okay,
very good. Laura says she thought that was called menopause.
When you lose all your thinking abilities, yeah, that does sometimes happen.
Yeah, Laura, I'm putting you here on the screen because you commented on Facebook, so you know that everybody in the world is seeing it. So I thought that was a really good question.
That's awesome.
That's very good. Okay, so I had another question for you. What was it? Oh, I had a good one. Oh, yes, I remember. Didn't take very long. See, I'm managing my stress now.
There you go.
You can, I've heard that fear of dying and fear of public speaking are like the biggest fears that anybody has in the world, right? In fact, fear of public speaking sometimes is even said that it's even greater than fear of dying. I have found that fear of sales calls actually trumps both of those.
I could see that.
I think people would rather die than make sales calls. I think they would rather be speaking in public and making sales calls. Do you have any good tips for the brain on how to get over fear of having sales calls?
Well, you know what? Probably the biggest thing I say is you're going to get people that are going to disagree with you. You're going to get people that are going to tell you no. And that's great. That's fine. It's interesting. I was doing a presentation a couple of weeks ago, and I had what you would call probably a heckler in the audience, right? She commented and disagreed with the information that I was presenting. And for me, that was like, yes, because her action proved that everything I teach, because everything I teach is that your brain's different than my brain, and everybody has a different opinion.
I love that.
Yeah, and their opinions are based on the way their brain is wired. It doesn't mean I'm wrong. It's just her opinion. And I think oftentimes people are afraid. Oh, I go through it. We're afraid to pick up that phone and make that call because the person on the other end might not like us.
Yeah.
They might say no. They might feel irritated that we called them. And we create these negative scenarios in our brain that may not even exist. And even if they do exist, it's okay because that's just their brain. And if they're not ready for your information, if they're not ready for what you have, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means they're not ready for it. Move on.
Move on.
Move on.
My friend Holly Trout, who was in media sales with me, would say, next.
Next. Exactly.
All right, we have another question from Susan. Susan says, what's the easiest way to tell if someone is visual, auditory, or kinesthetic? And not everyone knows what kinesthetic means. So kinesthetic means that they're hands-on, they need to feel and do type of learner. So I'll now leave the question over to you.
Tactile. There's a few things you can watch for. Pay attention to their speech. Oftentimes the visual will use in their speech things related to vision, like I see what you mean, or I get the picture. The auditories will say words or use words connected to hearing, oh, did you hear that? Or that doesn't sound right. The kinesthetics are going to talk about the gut. Oh, I got this gut feeling and it just didn't feel right. Or I don't like that situation because it's too tense. So pay attention to the vocabulary. Sometimes you can pick up on that. Just looking at them. Visuals are almost always very well put together. And if you're in a conversation with them and they have to oh, your hair's out of place and they have to adjust the hair. Or everything is neatly arranged in front of them, they're probably a visual. That's a visual. The kinesthetics are not that they're dressed sloppy, they're dressed comfortably. So the clothing, the type of clothing that they're going to have on will normally be comfortable clothing. The type of shoes they wear will normally be comfortable clothing. Or if they want to be in fashion, they'll kick off the shoes underneath the table so that you don't see it. Watch what they do with their hands. Kinesthetics will oftentimes fiddle with things. They'll always, if they're having a conversation, if the situation's tense, they're going to have something in their hand to mess with, or they're going to, shake their leg or tap their finger. The visuals might draw when you're talking. They might be drawing pictures out.
The doodlers.
The doodlers, yeah. So lots of different little things. Just start paying attention to body language and what people are doing. And you'd be surprised what you start picking up on.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that, question, Susan. That was a great question. All right, we are getting ready to wrap up. Believe it or not, we've already been live for 23 minutes. Isn't that crazy? And I really want you to tell the viewers, for one, how can they get more resources from you? And I can post it in the comments. And for two, you have a big event coming up this weekend. And I thought I wanted to give you a minute to talk about your big event and how people can find out more information, how they can register, and what kind of benefits can they take advantage of.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Any information you can, if you have questions, send me an email or contact me here on Facebook. Send me an email at info at yourbestmindonline.com. Yourbestmindonline. And that is the website. The website is yourbestmindonline.com. So you can check out there. If you go under events, you'll see the page for the mind-blowing, life-transforming event. It is my signature event. It is a powerful 2-day event. We go through every facet, all 5 facets of the brain-personality connection. We do really intense mind-brain work. We talk about getting past your blocks. We mind map. Everybody gets a stickum pad, and we are mind mapping everything.
I love it. I love mind mapping.
Yeah.
It's so much better to me than outlining. I love it.
And the brain loves it. The brain absolutely loves it because it's a visual. So we even play brain games. I have a table that has brain games on it. I'm
so sad that I'm going to miss it because I have all day Saturday. I know you and I went back and forth on emails about this because I really, really wanted to be there, and it's driving me nuts. Can I just come one day on Sunday?
Oh, it's Friday and Saturday, so it's not Sunday.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday.
All right. Give me the link to the website.
Come on over.
Right? What's the link to the website so I can post it for everybody for the event?
It would be, here, you want me to post it on there?
Oh, can you? That'd be great if you can.
Wait a minute. Okay, let me think. Let me see here. This might take a minute because this is all, let me see.
Awesome. While you're doing that, I'll ask, does anybody have any questions for Julie before we get ready to wrap up? You've got a brain expert right here at your disposal, and she's ready to answer questions. We've already answered a couple from Susan. Thank you. And she's going to post right now her event for this weekend. For one, you can go online to yourbestmindonline.com or info@yourbestmindonline.com if you want to ask Julie a question you did not get to do it on this live version. But I've got to tell you, I've met Julie before, and she's a really smart lady, and I know she's going to have an awesome event, and I wish I could figure out a way to cancel everything to get there. So if you can do that, make sure you get there. It's in Sacramento, and it's at the Embassy Suites, which is absolutely a gorgeous facility that we have here in Sacramento. So I'm happy about that. All right, so she posted a link in the comments there, mind-blowing, life-transforming event. This is so awesome, Julie. Love it. I bet it's super exciting for you, too.
It is. I love it. And, we always have a nice, small, tight little group. It's not one of those conferences that have 50 other people or 150 other people in the audience. I mean, those are fun, but you don't get that core work done. And we do that core work. So we're going to have a dozen people. We're going to have a dozen people in the room, and we're going to work one-on-one with them. So we do have a few spots that are open that you can take advantage of if you want to. I might even be able to give you a little bit of a special deal there if you get in touch with me, and we'll make progress in your relationship, your life, and your business in 2 days. It's amazing what we can accomplish.
Excellent. If you're interested in going to Julie's event this week, and I highly encourage you to go check out the link, look at all the goodies and information and benefits that you get by going, and the transformation that you're going to get by going to her event this week, click on the link. She's got it right there in the comments. And then if you, she might even have a super special promotional price for you if you email her at info@yourbestmindonline.com, and she can help you there. All right, Julie, it's time to wrap up. Any last ideas or thoughts for the audience before we get going?
You know what? I'm just going to say what I like to finish up a lot of my radio shows on is just enjoy every moment. Take a deep breath and let everything else go and just enjoy being. Life is so wonderful if you allow it to be. So just enjoy every moment.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Well, I want to thank you, Julie, so much for being my special guest this evening. It was a pleasure to host you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And tomorrow at 4 o'clock, tomorrow is Thursday, I think. I don't know. I've been in bed for 4 days. I'm just crawling out. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, we're going to talk to Dr. Erin Oxall, and Erin is going to give you tips and tools how to grow your business. She's going to talk about having a clear vision and mission for your business. She's a clinical psychologist. See, I told you the smartest people want to come and give you great information. So come tomorrow night, join me for Dr. Erin. She's going to give you some great tips on building your business. And then I'm going to download this video, and it'll be available to you on Facebook for like ever. So if you are just tuning in, didn't get to see the whole thing, you can go and hit play, and you can watch the incredible tips and information and advice that Julie has given you tonight. Thank you, Julie, and we will call it a wrap.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Good night.